All right. So for the viewers, um, this is going to be a different kind of class. Uh, through LMT's decision, we understand that there's some people that are in their own individual trading journey and they're not really in the same pace as others. Everyone is kind of like in their own spot at the moment, be it with TA or psychology. And some people just need that custom sort of education that would help them achieve that edge that they're looking for. Because too much broad of education doesn't really like sync with certain individuals. So this class is mostly going to be a one-on-one with Salsa here. It's more of
Hello.
us going to be talking and me helping him out with his sort of things, and you guys can just tune in and view it. We're not going to be talking about anything specific other than what he needs at the moment. But with that being said, if you guys ever feel like you guys want to do a one-on-one session similar to this, you can just tell LMT or tell Kennedy and they'll schedule something with you so that we can have a one-on-one mentorship per se. With that in mind, Salsa. So I'm just gonna kind of like interview you a bit to get an understanding of where you're at right now in your journey
Yep.
before we start trying to find a solution to you.
Yep.
So, how long have you been trading?
I've been trading for almost a year now. Basically, I started last summer. Um, so yeah, but that's it.
Uh,
Basically,
Out of your own observations of yourself, what would you say are your biggest kind of flaws?
my biggest flaw is definitely revenge trading. Um, Not lots of people, notice they have revenge trading, but it's hard to like, you take a loss and then you try to recover it back, and you keep on making these trades that just don't make sense, right? And you end up blowing an account because of it, you know.
Okay, so you overtrade and you try and chase out the red in your account.
Yep.
Or anything else, or do you feel like that's just the thing that's
I
really
feel like
stopping you?
I feel like that's the thing that's really stopping me. Like some days I'll have like $100 loss, but I'll make it $1,000 loss, and I'll hit my daily drawdown for the day.
Okay, so you also have bad risk management.
Yeah.
Okay, so mm, you're doing prop firms, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. When you're in a trade, what do you feel?
Um, when I'm in a trade, I don't really feel anything until I'm really into drawdown, like almost near my stop loss. You know, I'm able to enter a trade and walk away from the markets, but like at the same time, like if I'm in the trade and go straight to drawdown, and I know that like my idea is validated, I'll probably like start moving my stop loss up or leave the trade early because I don't want to take that loss.
Okay, so when you size into a trade, how much are you risking for the account size?
Um, I'm risking wow 1%, so like 500 per trade because I'll trade a 50K.
Okay, so you're pretty much risking the 500. The drawdown, I imagine, if you're doing Apex is 250, right? So you have five tries before you blow
Yeah.
your account?
Yep.
Okay. And with your TA, with your model, what is usually the success rate?
My success rate,
Yes.
I would say if I didn't revenge trade a lot, my success rate is definitely at like a 50%.
50%. How much do you target? Like, let's say you risk, well, five.
Like a one to two or one to three. So
Okay.
1,000 or 1,500.
All right. So with that sort of risk, right, you're aiming to make big, but you're also putting yourself in a position where definitely one good trade will put you back at even or more green if you had a couple of losses.
Yep.
Do you have any issues holding to the target, or do you just like have your TP set and you let it be?
Sometimes if I'm in a trade and the trade just like goes into red and like a big red, but like my idea is still validated, I'll end up leaving the trade sometimes.
No, I mean like let's say the trade is going towards your favor, but do you
Yeah.
exit early or anything like that?
No. I let the trade run.
Okay. Give me a second. Does this sound better as a mic?
Um, they sound kind of the same to me.
Kind of the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, we'll just go with this. So, mm, you only feel stress and anxiety when your trade is going against you, and
Yeah.
you feel more relieved when it's going towards you. You don't feel like stressful that it's going to retrace and stop you out.
No, I don't. I don't really
Okay.
feel that. I'm okay for a trade to like go to my break even point. Just I'm not okay when like I'm in red.
Okay. Okay. Just like since more people joined, this is something new that we're going to be doing in Kingline. Some people are in different points of their trading journey and feel like they need a more individualized set education, right? Something that's targeting specifically their flaws so they can find a better understanding of how to tackle it and how to find a better edge. So it's kind of like a one-on-one mentorship. If you guys are interested in scheduling one with me, you gotta talk to Kennedy or LMT, and eventually we'll do a one-on-one session together. All right, sounds good.
Yep.
So when you take what your purpose for trading is essentially like anyone else to make money, but what is your big objective with it?
A big objective is just like it might sound weird, but just freedom, you know? Like I like the fact that, trading it gives you ability to, just have freedom and be able to, scale up to and everything like that. I like that. I like that model.
Hmm. Okay, so you're afraid of red, take too many revenge trades. Do you trust? Are you confident that are able to get a good read of the market?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Okay, then think. Do you have a rules that you follow by every day, or do you just kind of wing it?
I have rules that I follow.
Like how often do you break those rules?
Not very often. I keep my strategy important.
So let's talk about your rules. What are your rules?
Um, my rules are to trade like the trade in between 9:30 to 11:30, Don't trade don't trade like at 2 minutes after market open because I don't like the volatility there. It's too high and markets can go any direction in my opinion. Um, you know, to don't over risk basically. I mean that rule I break sometimes. Most of the time. Um, what else? To always trade my strategy too, right? I trade I trade turtle soup and some other stuff like support and resistance. And that's it. That's basically my rules.
Okay, well those rules are too broad. You know, when we have the
Uh,
rules, the things that we kind of want to have like a one, two, three, four, five step thing that you abide to every single time. Having
Yeah,
the classic, oh, I'm just gonna trade my own model, and the don't trade a certain time. You know, you're kind of leaving out the key things, which is the risk management ones. The
yeah.
for example, how many trades a day do you take?
Trades. I'd like to keep it in between like 5, 6 trades,
Five, six trades. So does your
under
setup
10 trades.
does your proper winning setup genuinely appear
Yeah,
4 or 5 times a day?
yeah,
Right. So your problem then with a 40% win rate is that, well, assuming that your model does genuinely appear there and you have a 1 to 3 risk to reward, and
yeah,
you do 40% to it, you should technically be profitable long term. So
yeah,
you're not actually doing 4 to 5 trades if you're revenge trading.
hmm It's just the fact that like I'll lose one trade and then like I'll over leverage in the trade.
All right, so you lose one
Or-
and then you lose two, and then you're like, okay, now I have to do double the sizing to win
Yeah,
it.
to make that back.
Okay,
But
so
I know
that's
this, it's hard for me to fix.
okay. So straight off, I know that it might seem like a good idea. It's just like one extra win you need and it makes it all back by
Yep.
over leveraging, but it's never gonna work, right?
Yeah.
You essentially are just walking in front of a wall every single time, and you're thinking that okay, maybe this time if I walk right in front of this wall, I'm gonna go through it. It's never gonna happen. Over leveraging an account after taking losses is pretty much you going into a gambler's mindset that this is going to win, and it's most often going to be based on luck, especially if you don't have the right analysis going on or you're taking emotional trades.
Yep.
Your mind is clogged. So I'd say a new set of rules that you're going to need is specifically directed at limiting yourself to lesser trades. You're taking definitely more than five trades because if you're revenge trading, you're taking trades that are not your model.
Yeah.
So if your model really does appear at five, you have to limit yourself to just five or less. Only
hmm
trade your model. That's the number
Yeah.
one thing you have to do. Second, being afraid of red is not really doable. You have to start accepting the fact that red is a part of the game. That drawdown isn't the bad guy, it's in fact your friend that helps you analyze how much you should risk in a certain trade and how much you are willing to expose yourself to the risk. When you enter a trade, you can't enter the trade knowing that you're going to win. You have to embrace the fact that any trade that you make from here on out is a loss. Just
Yeah.
accept it in your head. I like this setup, but it's a 100% going to lose. Just have that in your mind. Are you comfortable knowing that the setup you're going to take 100% is going to lose? If not, then okay, why are you not comfortable? Well, because if I lose this trade, I only have four more trades until I blow the account. Well, that's not really a thing that you'd like to experience or feel. So, what if you lessen your size so that instead of losing five trades to blow your account, you lose 10 trades to blow your account? That way, you're also limiting the amount of emotion that goes into it. Because if you know that you have let's say, a 50% win rate and you have a 1
Yeah.
to 3 risk reward or 1 to 2, even if you lose five of those 10 trades, you're most likely going to be green in general. So you have your mind configured that you just every time any trade you take is just going to be wrong. It's a lot easier than entering with anticipation that you're trying to predict that it's right.
hmm
In addition to that, I would say that ideally you might want to configure your sizing because I understand that five trades is decent, right? But if you're not emotionally ready to take an actual loss and you feel that urge to just have to get it back no matter what, you're always going to set yourself up to failure.
Yeah.
Price does a lot of manipulative moves. There's always going to be a setup the next day, every other day. Your model is always going to be present. So you'd never have to feel the urge that you're going to miss out on something. Even if, let's say, your trade goes by and you miss it and you feel like, oh man, I can't miss the next one, you can miss the next one. You can miss the next one after that and everything because this is a business at the end of the day, right? The question is, how badly do you want your freedom? Do you want it real bad or do you casually just like, oh, I'd like it?
hmm
Because rules, the thing is, you're in a comfortable spot. And to follow specific rules, you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable spot. So it's something that you don't really feel like you want to do, but that you have to kind of force. And forcing
Yeah.
uncomfortability into your trading is the way that people succeed. The way that people succeed is to become the greatest loser they can be, because then all they have is winners at the end. If you know how to lose correctly, you don't know how to lose. You're a terrible loser.
Yeah. So I have to learn to lose to win.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
the main focus I'm going to give to you is reevaluate your sizing. I'd say decrease it by half, in fact, because
Okay.
ideally, well, you're aiming, you have a stop loss. You do 5 MNQ, or how much do you do?
I do 5 MNQ, so micro.
All right, you have a 5 micro, then you are risking you're risking 50 points per trade.
Yeah. I think yeah, that's it.
Okay, so if you're risking 50 points per trade to make 100 points per trade, or 150, is that right? 100 points and 150?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know exactly what your style is, but I think you should also reevaluate your targets. Because NASDAQ does move a lot for sure, but there's certain markets, like for example, these past couple of weeks, where it hasn't really been distributing that much, I'd say, to make 150-point moves.
Do you think I should like you think when I enter a trade, like my trade just like consolidates because my targets are too big? So I keep on going to draw down some profit.
Yes, I feel like you have to reevaluate your targets and your stop loss. I usually target like really big swing points, right? I'd go
You
ham
think I
trying
should
to
like
catch it.
increase my order size
No, not order size.
to
No,
one
the
NQ?
idea is that you should decrease your order size, not increase it. And one MQ can, one MQ could help, but I feel like, mm,
I don't know. I think your mic's broken.
give me a second. Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you actually turn on your chart? I would like to see what your model is. Because perhaps
All right.
I don't want to diss your model, but I think perhaps there could be tweaks that could increase its efficiency.
Let me open up. All right. I can't stream.
Or you don't have to allow?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I don't know how to fix that then. Okay, well, we have to be in the members lounge? Okay, let's go to the members lounge now. All right, can you share your screen now, Salsa? Um, yes, how do I give them permission to speak in the server?
So he shouldn't need permission. He should be good to go. We should all be able to share our screens here. But I can help if he needs it.
Yeah, you should be able to do it, Salsa. It says it's suppressed. I don't think they can.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll fix it.
Okay.
Salsa, are you a moonwalker? It says that you guys all have permission. Can someone else try sharing their screen? Like one of the other moonwalkers? Can you guys confirm or deny if you can share your screen?
Okay, you should be able to then. I'll just give him the perf real quick.
Yeah.
All right, try now, Salsa.
There we go. You got it. It's loading.
Okay, so how does your model work, essentially? You should be able to try again. You should be able to talk now. It says he's suppressed, even though he has the moonwalker role. All right, now can you try?
Yeah, Miss, where are you seeing suppress that?
No, he's saying he's suppressed in the chart. He's writing it down.
Oh, my bad. Okay, hold on a second. Let me take a look. Maybe we server muted him. Okay, doesn't look like he's muted on my side, and I did double check. Hold on. It says you're muted. It says your mic is muted from your side. Like the picture on our side shows that you muted yourself. Otherwise, if you were server muted, your mic would be red. Guys, or Bridget, I see that your mic isn't muted. Can you talk and just confirm that you can talk, or that we can hear you? Okay, yeah, I hear that. I heard that. Okay, great. So yeah, so one of the other moonwalkers can talk, so I think you should be good. I think it's just your mic. I'll double check.
Hello.
Yeah.
There we go.
I had to rejoin.
Okay, there we go. Yeah,
All
it's
right
usually
then.
this.
All right,
All right.
show me
So
his model viewers.
I basically just trade. Like see right here. I trade stuff like this. Like I like how market made like a shift upward, right, and came back down to the level right here. So like I basically would have marked this out, right? And I like how it got rejected off the zone. I would have waited for it to get rejected, and then I would have entered a long position basically. And I would usually have a tight stop loss,
Just go
but
to the website, find members lounge, and you'll see that there's Salsa Boy is talking. It's live.
What?
you hear that?
Live stream. Scroll down a little bit more.
Yo, Denja, your mic's unmuted.
No, on your left side now, where you have the line, the navigation where you're going through the screen. Okay. Scroll down a little bit.
I think he fixed it now, Deandra.
Yeah, I fixed it. I fixed it.
Thank you. There.
So basically, I would trade that, and I would put my take profit right above the high,
And that,
something like this.
Yeah. Okay, members lounge, and then,
Like right here too, like how markets made a shift up, came back down, got rejected off this zone again. As you see right here, it
Okay.
wicked off the zone.
So you're pure levels trader, right?
Huh?
So you're full on levels trader.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay, this might be a little bit harder. So I definitely think that a 50-point stop loss is too much. I
Think,
think that your targets are, especially in a market where the range is really tight, like right now, if you
mhm.
look at the 4 hour time frame, we're practically been trading in a range the entire time without doing much of an expansion to anywhere. Uh,
Yep.
it's definitely not really too effective to what you're looking for. I think
Yeah.
your sizing, well, I don't want to bash on your model, but your sizing should definitely be
Yeah.
more decreased if you're going to risk 50 points, because 50 points is a lot, especially with 5 micros.
You think I
Um,
should
Probably two,
increase my sizing?
but I'd say two or 3 micros if you're going to have a 50-point stop loss.
Yeah.
But at
Or
the
do you
same
think I
time,
should just go to one mini?
you blow your
Just one
account
normal NQ?
if you get stopped out with 1 mini, you most likely blow your account in 2 trades.
Yeah, but then lower my stop from 50 points to a couple points.
Well,
Have a tighter stop loss.
what's the invalidation for your model?
Just going below. Yeah, I should. Like, just going below the target. So like below this line, so a couple points. I think, but like
What?
for me, what I thought was like if I increase my stop, then it'd be harder for me to get stopped out.
Okay, no, that's bad thinking. So the invalidation for your trade is literally if price closes below the line.
Yeah,
Okay, so then in that case, there's no reason for you to ever have a 50-point stop or any other kind of large range
yeah,
stops. You should treat that level sort of like it's practically if it closes below, let's say what time frame do you trade?
I trade 1 minute
One.
and I trade 1 minute to 5 minute.
Okay,
So
so usually when price hits that level in the 1 minute or 5 minute, does it always have a reaction when it's a good winning trade?
yeah, it usually reacts pretty good. Like makes equals,
Okay.
equal bottoms.
And from the amount of time that you've been trading, whenever the 5 minute candle closes below the level, how often does it come back up, or how often does it not come back up?
When it closes below the level,
Hmm.
it usually just keeps on going down or up.
Well,
It usually doesn't get
then
rejected.
then that's your answer, man. If the 5 minute candle closes below your invalidation point, you should just get out. There's no need to hold it through any drawdown.
Yeah,
So here's the thing: you need to start really analyzing exactly more data within your model. I'd say when we take a trade, for example, when I take a trade, I always have in mind the invalidation to where I'll stop looking for a certain move and why I would look for the move.
yeah.
I Your model is yours, so I have no right to discriminate against it
No,
based on
no,
your
no, no.
style.
You can,
But
you can.
no,
I'm open to.
there's plenty of ways to make money in the market. If you're a level
Yeah,
trader, that's perfectly fine. But I'm saying every setup you take has to have an invalidation point. If your invalidation point is hit, you do not need to be holding that trade anymore. You should cut it because you're telling me that your trade happens to appear around 4 to 5 times every day. So if that's the
yeah,
case, that it appears 4 to 5 times every day, then there's plenty of opportunities that the next one will be a probable winner. So if you
yeah,
cut the trade the moment it's invalidated, you're going to have a lot more room to take more of the trades that you know will work. So
yeah.
here's straight up the rules that you're going to do. I don't think we get a lot of 150-point expansions from levels, but if that's the kind of results that you've been getting from data, then you can definitely continue doing that for your targets. I would
No,
say
I
you,
just started making my stop loss this high for some reason. I just decided like if I make my target and stop loss bigger, then I'd have a lower chance of losing.
I'd say
I don't know why.
I'd say do this. Target highs or lows of previous day, 4 hour, 1 hour, or high of days or low of the day
Yeah,
for your targets. Don't target exactly 100 or 150 points. You should make your
yeah.
target be the draw of where liquidity is. And that usually is
Hmm.
like the very highest point of the range or the very lowest point of the range. So that's the number one thing I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you to do for your new targets. Second, always cut your trade when it's invalidated. Don't cut it and then it will be like, oh, maybe it's going to work now. I'm going to get back in. No, you cut it when it's invalidated.
Yeah.
And here's another recommendation that Soy Sauce gave. Put a stop before you put your entry order.
Yeah.
So that's also a smart idea because right now, if you're telling me that your model has a 40% or 50% win rate with a 1, 2, 3, that's perfect. But ideally, have a proper target. Exact
Yeah.
points and price are hard to hit, and if you're not targeting, let's say, a high or a low, you're pretty much throwing a dart in the blind. You don't know where price is going, and you're not able to effectively exit.
Yeah.
Now, point wise, I'm not sure how much it will go again. It will be for the validation of your model, but I'm definitely sure it's going to be way better than 50 points. So you can
Mm.
still do 5 MMQ, assuming that the invalidation will range from, let's say, 10, 20 points. I'd say it's fine, but I think you should start gathering more data on your model right now. Cut
Yeah.
whenever it invalidates. Trust that target actual highs or lows depending on which side you're playing. And in addition, try not to, this is a bit hard to say. So keep in mind that there will always be another setup that you can take.
Yeah.
I get it that when you're red, you feel like, oh no, I have to make it back now. But patience is truly the virtue that makes you profitable. There are plenty of times the market is doing something right before my eyes, and because I decide to be patient and wait for something that is a lot more optimal, I benefit a lot more. If I was not patient at all and took anything I saw before me, I would not succeed at all. I'm telling you straight up, if you're not patient to see your actual model in display, you're gonna keep failing, you're gonna keep blowing your accounts.
Yeah.
The game is to wait like a hunter, and when you see your prey, you take the shot. Not to just shoot
Yeah.
blindly, because otherwise you're gonna scare every other prey away. So rule
I
number one,
understand.
you exit at invalidation. Rule number two, you size adequately to your risk. If you see that, let's say, the level that you have synced with another level and you feel like, oh, it could hit both levels and then bounce or something like that, then size adequately to the amount that you're ready to lose. Now also, have in your head that every trade you're taking is going to be a loss. If you're comfortable knowing that the trade you're going to take is going to be a loss, it will stress you out way less than being like, oh no, I need this to work. With that
Yeah.
also being said, no more over leveraging. If you take a loss, you keep the same exact size or you decrease the size. Because if you over leverage after taking losses, you're just putting yourself up in a position where the next loss is going to hit even harder, which would mean that you either have to win more times or you're going to feel like I have to go even bigger in size. And one over leverage hit can put your account way back. For example, I'm going to put my experience this week. I took 4 losses in one day, and I lost 48 points, around 48 points.
Yeah.
Straight up. I lost those points, but because I sized the same exact way each trade, I only lost the gains of the previous day. If each trade I sized in greater, I sized in heavier, I wouldn't just be losing the gains of the previous day, I'd be losing the gains of days, potentially blowing the account itself. You
Yeah.
have to make your sizing constant, especially if you're telling me that you have a 1 to 2 risk to reward or 1 to 3 risk to reward. The more constant your sizing is, the greater chance of survivability it has. I've been in deep drawdown before, where let's say I'm down 1,000, and just like I'm down 1,000, by taking the consistent sizing and trusting the amount of my model, I made it back in green. This is
Yeah.
something that leads to long-term profitability. Honoring your system with consistency. Now, if you are just sporadic in your sizing, you're gonna get sporadic results. For sure, you can get one winner and shoots all the way up, but if you get a couple of losers, you practically blow the account, and that's no way to actually find freedom in this business. You want to make it so that one losing day is the same as one winning day. A couple of gains, a couple of losses, but it doesn't mean you blew the account immediately, unless you're full for it. So that's going to be the biggest thing that you need to start focusing on. And number three
Yeah.
is limit the amount of trades you take. You do not need to take all 5 of your setups. Each trade that you take, you are exposing yourself to the possibility of losing. Ideally, you want to aim to get your maybe 1, 2 winners and wrap the day up as fast as possible because this market, NASDAQ specifically, is a beast that will always seek to take out your money and will always seek to make you liquidity. So your
Yeah.
objective is to make your money and run. It's not to make your money and keep risking your money to try and make a couple more gains. Because there's plenty of people that win and then they get that itch of, what if I try a little bit more? What if I try and make a little bit more? And then they lose those gains and they're like, fuck, okay, I'm gonna try and make that back. I just know one more trade would make me have the gains I had previously, and then they take that extra trade, and then they're even more in drawdown. And then that's the psychological aspect. It's like, okay, do you keep going, or do you learn to actually put the towel down and surrender? The moment that
Yeah.
you gain the power to put the towel down and say, that's it, I'm done for the day because am not doing things correctly, or I've lost too much of the gains that I've made, that's when you're really winning this game. I lost 4 times in a row, but
又
when
不写，
the day that I lost 4 times in a row, I said to myself, okay, that's it. No more trades for me. And even though there was a long setup and I knew price was going to go for the upside, I didn't do anything. I just tapered because that was my breaking point where I said, I'm just going to wait for tomorrow. And that's the exact same mindset you should have for as well. If you take several losses, wait for the next day where your model is way better, when your head is way clear. Because ideally, let's say you make 50 points in your trade. That's $500. That's hours of work. So imagine making $500 and then feeling like, oh, I can make another 500. Okay, but what if you're wrong? Are you really okay with losing 300 or 200 in a 20 point or 30 point stop? I would never be okay with losing $300. No. So I prefer to, after I get my win, to just wrap it up and get out of the market because there's no point in me overexposing myself. The same way you should have your mentality that you don't need to take every trade you see. You just need to try and take the one that will give you the highest confidence. And once you do, wrap up your day. This is all about compounding gains too. It's about slowly, well, you can do it fast as well, but it's ideally about making consistent gains so that you have a consistent model. And that way you can also identify, well, if I'm making $500 every day, then once I get, let's say, a static account, and once I reach a certain threshold, I know that I'm consistent enough that I can potentially double my size into making $1,000 every day instead. But if you
Hmm.
keep doing sporadic trades, you'll never know if you could actually accomplish that. And because you never know that, you'll never gain a certain confidence and instinct when it comes to the market. I am always confident that even if I lose, I'll make it back because I have done that consistently so many times that I know that it's just impossible for me to practically lose at this game anymore long term. You don't know that because you are sporadic, you're not consistent at all, and you keep overexposing yourself to things that make you feel like, okay, I don't know if this is going to work, or okay, I have to make this back as fast as possible by revenge trading. So,
Yeah.
you, I would say, for your third rule, try and limit yourself to 1 to 2 trades a day. If you're more, I'm seeing from these levels that you have, or well, when you're tracing them in the chart, your model moves a good chunk of points. That's completely good. That's great, especially if you compound that. That's fantastic. You don't need any more than that. And another thing
Hmm.
is greed. I assume that just like any other young person here, you got into trading the market because you see a lot of other influencers online flexing a ton of money, Get rich easy, get rich quick.
Yeah.
This isn't that. Right? This is one of the hardest professions, I'd say. Mentally exhausting, emotionally taxing. You're not going to get rich in a day. You're not going to get rich in a week. But this is something you're going to have to actually strive to make consistent slowly. Slow is better when it comes to this. And your objective shouldn't be to make as much money as possible. Your objective should be to lose as efficiently as possible. Because the reason I'm not
Yeah.
bashing your model at all, or telling you no, you should do ICT right now, is because I know retail traders that do the most simplest things, but that are more successful than me. And if they're more successful than me, it means that they are doing something way better than I am. And after talking to many of them, I figured it out. They're good losers. They have good risk management. And that's the secret key to this. You're an absolute loser right now because your risk management is trash. And that's what we're going to try and fix
Yeah.
here. So I'd say those three rules are the things that you have to really focus on. No more over trading. Focus on taking 1 to 2 trades a day with your exact model. No more overholding your trade to 50-point drawdown. Close it the moment it invalidates. And also try and target draws of liquidity. Like I
Yeah.
said, previous day highs, current highs of day, previous day lows, current lows of days, high of the week, low of the week, things like that. Okay? And also, I don't know how your model would do in range days where price barely expands and it's kind of choppy. But if you have a certain amount of losses, call it a day. You don't need to make it back all in one day when you can potentially make it back the very next day during better conditions. You have to start being less. You already know what drawdown is like because you've been holding fucking 50 points. That's quite a lot. So I know you know what drawdown is like, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you have to be afraid of it. Being in drawdown is also like, let's say you lose $500, then that means you have $500 less of trading drawdown you don't have to even worry about. For example, when I took a loss, I'm like, okay, yeah, I lost, but now I have that loss to make back where I don't have to care about the trading drawdown because I have to just push right back up. In this
Mhm.
situation,
And
like I said, 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 risk to reward means that you can take a lot of hits and you'll still be okay. I took 4 losses, 10, 20 points, and I was okay because I matched 1 to 3 risk to reward. As good as that is. So those are the main things I'd say right now for what you're dealing with. I'm sure that as you continue your trading journey, there's going to be a lot more flaws that you're going to identify and a lot more things that you're going to tackle. But for now, definitely your focus should be how to manage your trades better. Not necessarily don't trade 9:30 open. Well, yes, you don't want to trade it because it's manipulative as fuck, but more specifically on your risk. That's where your rules should be cemented. Put a sticky note on it on your computer just so that you remember every time. And before you take a trade, force yourself to read that sticky note and make sure that you are fulfilling every single thing in that note. Because if you're
yeah.
not, then get out of the trade. Because then you're just gambling. If you ever feel uncertainty in your trade and you feel like no confidence, it's because you don't really know what you're doing. And that's a big thing as well. If you don't know what the market is doing, then just fuck off. Don't even bother trading it. Only trade when you know what the market is doing and if it's following through with your model. Don't If you don't know what it's doing, there's no reason to press the button. If price stopped you out twice in a row, there's no reason for you to risk it on a trade that I assume will not be your model because you get emotional and you're trying to make it back with any sort of scalp. That's what I'm imagining you do.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I
quitting
understand.
over leverage. All right? That would be the
Yeah.
advice I'd give you for now. I want to check up on you in, I'd say 2 weeks, because you need time to implement all of this. So after you
Yeah.
implement this in 2 weeks, we're gonna have another talk in private and see how you're doing.
Yep.
But that should be the essence of your focus right now, in my opinion.
All right. Thank you.
Is there anything that you'd like to ask or something that you want me to
No.
teach?
You basically answered all my questions. No.
Okay. So there's some comments that people made in the chat, recommendations that could also assist you in case you want to read through what their opinion is.
Yeah,
Everyone has
I'm
made valid comments, for sure.
I'm reading. I've read the chat.
All right, fantastic, Salsa. In that case, I guess that would be the end of our one-on-one. You can hop
Yep.
off now if you want, but
Yeah.
if you also want to request another one, just talk to LMT in the future after 2 weeks, I'd say, because you definitely need to put what I've told you into work first. And
Yeah.
after you do that, you'll identify new flaws, because this is all about identifying flaws and overcoming them. I didn't become perfect in a day. I had to do this for 5 years until I fixed all of my mistakes to be at this point. And I'm sure it's going to be a long journey for you as well, but it doesn't have to be too rough because you're under right guidance with us. And even if your model is different than all of us, it can still be profitable just with right mindset.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And
I
go
truly
enjoy the
appreciate
rest
it.
of your weekend. I'm going to talk to these
Yeah,
guys for a
you
bit.
too. Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. So, like I said, for those that are just tuning in, kind of hearing me berate this guy, this is a new thing that we're kind of doing in Kingline, right? People are in different stages of their trading journey. Some people feel like they need more of the personal education rather than the broad one that we kind of offer. And we're now trying to implement that through this way. So if any of you guys feel like you want to talk about something specific in your trading, or you want to do a one-on-one mentorship pretty much with me, just talk to LMT or talk with Kennedy, schedule something, and we'll see each other. Because the idea is that all of us here would be uh, will be learning things to improve their edge instead of feeling lost in the sea. Honestly, I don't know why that was the title. Maybe Ken made a mistake and thought that that was gonna be what we were gonna talk about, because that was not intended at all. But since we're here, might as well. We have what, 24 more minutes? Might as well talk about it. So, I'm almost done with the 20 accounts. We passed some. I didn't pass all of them because yesterday I was just being cautious, so I did only 10 of the accounts. But we didn't exactly hit the time limits that we were looking for, right? We're about to hit the 10 cycle, the 20 cycle for May. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to make the payout for the 20 as I was intending for the May month. I'm going to have to do that one there that allow you guys to do. Uh, but it's been an experience, right? It shows you how rough it can be to pass evals, or if you were to treat them with PAs at the same way as a PA, how rough it would be. But it's not impossible, right? It took us a while. I'd say in this game you need a lot of self-reflecting, right? We had really rough weeks. I'd say these past 2 weeks have been super rough, and it gave me kind of flashbacks of the past because I can't remember the last game I properly lost all the games I made over a previous day. But even so, you guys know my risk management is stone. Set in stone, nothing changes. And thankfully I made it all back. I think if we are going to talk about, let me see, how can I make this a good class? A road to payout. I'd say definitely what I learned from this is that if we're going to aim for proper consistency, it's something that depends truly on discipline. Discipline to be following the exact same thing every single day, despite what the market throws at you. Because I've had to adapt to the market that we're in right now. We had a lot of expansions previous weeks. Price was, although I'd had to deal with trashy, choppy AM sessions last months. There were still months where we made expansions and price was doing the models that I liked. They were practically days that I just woke up at 10 a.m., looked at the chart, bam, I know exactly what price is going to do. I'm going to take my trade, wrap it up. But these past weeks, I wake up at 10 a.m. and I'm looking at the chart, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I gotta think big. Uh, I had to come out of my comfort zone. I had to adapt. fucking Jimmy here. You guys should congratulate Jimmy because he's the one that made convinced me to wake up at 9 a.m. So, you know, price does certain things and you have to adapt to what price does. I had to adapt by waking up even earlier and really taking the time to analyze what price is properly doing. And because of that, we were able to catch the winners this Friday real easy. A lot of people missed the short. A lot of people got trapped in longs because that's what price did. But with the proper approach, I was able to make that win. And I feel like from now on, we're also going to start with, the streams are going to be from 9 a.m. now. So that's going to be how things are going to be from now on. But a real big part of it was despite losses or despite break even trades, it's just still repetition. Every single one of you guys should have rules in your trading that you force yourself to do. If you wing it, you will never find the success that you guys are looking for. You have to force yourself to repeat those certain trades, even if your model is different, and to have confidence in it. It's your model for a reason, but it's also, I can't think of the right word. Can't think of the right word. But it's with all of your models that you guys do individually, there should be a set of risk management parameters that will lead to long-term profitability. You don't want to have something that is just as a short-term vision. You want to have something that mathematically makes sense. For example, with LMT, he has a system, NQ Agro, that makes mathematical sense to him, and that's why he's so successful because he does it every single day using the data that he's gathered. If you have a system, you want to make sure if it makes sense, if your system makes sense mathematically and you abide to it, you're going to see results that will represent those things. If you get bad results, then that's why you do what Jess has been doing all these past weeks. You backtest and see what can I do differently to improve those bad results that I got. I have been trading the same exact way for years. I didn't really change how I trade. The only thing that made me profitable was psychology. So that was the big difference for me. So from my perspective, I feel like a lot of you guys right now, for those that aren't really successful, it's not necessarily because I know a lot of people here know how to trade. I don't think anyone here is, unless you're a beginner, doesn't know what they're doing. But it's definitely a part of, let's say, not throwing away gains back into the market, overexposing yourself. So if you feel like you're consistently doing that, or if you're not where you're at where you want to be right now, take a minute to reflect on all of the trades that you did this week. If you ended the week bad, take a minute to identify why you ended the week bad. It doesn't help to blame the market for everything. Now, of course, there are days where the market is terrible, and I like to cuss at NASDAQ and all of that. But at the same time, I know that there's things that I could have done differently. For example, the day that I got my 4 losses, after I looked back on it, in fact, let me pull up my chart so I can show you guys the big mistake that I did. Here it is. The big mistake is that I tried to trade while we were stuck. I think it was, no, it's not there. Where was oh no, it was here. I tried to trade while we were stuck in this range. That was my big mistake. We know that price accumulates and makes these ranges where it doesn't want to seek draw of liquidity. My model is where price seeks the external liquidity, and that's why I catch those big wins. But if price is in a position where it doesn't want to do that, then I have no business trading any of this. And I tried taking some trades here, and because of that, obviously I got my ass kicked. So a big part of the business is identifying things that already go against you and learning to just do nothing. Sometimes the best choice is truly to do nothing. I got also trapped in a trade. It was so embarrassing. I felt so embarrassed with myself how I got trapped into going short, and price just ripped into the upside immediately after. That was humiliating, but it was also a reminder that, the market was in a manipulative stage and I had no business doing anything here. I should have just put off the towel the moment the price invalidated the model that I was looking at, which was this 5 minute 2022, if you guys remember it. This was the PD array that needed to be respected for continuation lower. It got respected, I pyramided in, I got stopped out at break even, that should have been it for my day. But I got susceptible to wanting more, the easiest rookie mistake. And that's what led to me having a bad day. The fact that I wanted more. More does not mean the greater. Less is greater. If you have something or if you lost little, that is better than always seeking more, especially in the conditions that the market might be in. If you don't, at this point, I should have reevaluated things correctly and identified that this is not my zone and pissed off. And that's exactly what I did this day. After the shorts, I could have 100% continued trading, but then I saw what we were doing here. Same exact thing as last time. I'm not a good scalper. I hate scalping. I hate uh, entering a trade and exiting like 10 seconds. That's not my thing. So I saw this. I left. I didn't even bother looking at the charts again. I did take a little bit of trades because I wanted to pass one account, but I didn't take anything that I felt was serious enough to even bother telling people about it or even bothering risking my important accounts on. So what would you say was the biggest adjustment you made? I'd say the biggest adjustment I did that made the difference was simply being a lot more patient and observant of what is truly going on, getting the proper read of the market. Because, like I said, I wake up at 10, I open the chart, I instantly know what the market's going to do, and I take the trade as soon as I see it. This time, I had to be a lot more observant of what the true intentions were. The moment I identified the true intentions here, I made bank. Here, I didn't identify the true intentions. Here, I thought price was truly going to make a 5 minute bearish 2022 model for continuation lower. What I should have been paying more attention was, okay, we swept all of this liquidity. Yeah, for sure. Price didn't take out this low right here. But at the very same time, doing all of this, what was going on? Time distortion. Indexes were doing different things at the very same time, similar to, no, practically, yeah, it was all fucking time distortion. The indexes were doing different things, and that should have told me not to even bother messing with the market. So after this entire move, I think it was YM that was ripping like crazy. Ed was just kind of pushing up, and Nasdaq was the only one that truly wanted to go lower. So that was an additional thing. I was not paying attention to that. I should have paid attention to it, but I didn't. And that was another big mistake there. So invalidation for this was the moment this PD rate was disrespected. I got too sold on the idea that we were going to go down here. I should have been more conservative in the idea, for sure, we could respect this and just come right back up, instead of just being convinced that this was going to happen. Here, I took a different approach where, okay, my model happened, we're distributing lower. I'm not going to wait for, let's say, price to retrace into some sort of PD rate up here. Like we had a 15-minute 2022, right? Shift right there, shift right here in the 15-minute. I was not going to expect that price was going to do exactly what I wanted the other day to do, because I'm not sure if price is going to do the external expansion all the way to the jaws of here or over up there. So if I'm not sure, then I gotta get out. It's similar to that saying of, if your trade looks good enough for a screenshot, that's your sign to secure gains instead of taking that screenshot. It's the same way with your confidence in a trade. If you at some point start to lose confidence in what you're seeing, then just don't bother. Because when you know, it's a feeling. When you know what the market is doing, you feel a certain type of way. But when you don't know what it's doing, and I'd say this is the biggest thing that kind of helped as well for me. The moment you start looking for others' opinions, that's the sign that you should not trade. Because if you, unless, well, I assume that, okay, let me be more specific. If you guys know TA, and you guys know how to read the market, 100%, like you do not need help and you get your own model, your own trade setups, if you seek the opinion of someone else, that means you should not take the trade because you don't know what prices will lead to it. If you're a beginner, of course, I know you're not going to know, so you can kind of look for insight on me or JD or someone else. But if you genuinely feel like you have to listen to someone else's opinion over what the market is going to do, you're out of sync. That just means don't even bother trading, in my opinion. And that's why I don't care what other people are doing. I don't care if, let's say, JD is fading me, because in the end, I know what I'm seeing. And if I'm going to be wrong, I will be wrong. But at the same time, if I'm going to be right, I know I'm going to make my money and I don't have to be stressed out about anything else. Because there's plenty of times where JD has gone against me and we both make money. Because he's a scalper. He scalps the move. I look for the bigger move. We both win. And the same way it's going to be kind of for you guys. If you ever feel like a mod is fading you, that does not mean that you're wrong as long as you are convicted in your setup. But if you feel insecure or you feel like you need to rely on someone else for your setup specifically, if you already know how to trade, right? If you already know how to trade, that is just a sign to just not go to anything. Exactly as Jess said. Um, I would say that's kind of the advice I have for today, kids. I don't really know because I wasn't planning to talk about the road to payout. That was just a mistake of communication between me and Ken. But yeah, that was today's class. If you guys want to have a one-on-one session and you liked what I did with Soundset, go ahead and talk to Ken or LMT about scheduling. Other than that, if you guys have not voted in the poll, I'm doing a poll in my education section over bar to bar backtesting. I'm not sure if you guys don't know what that is, I'll explain it beforehand in tomorrow's live. But if you do know what it is, it's essentially the more interactive backtesting. We're gonna do that at a different day and a different time than Jess does it, so it doesn't kind of cluster up. But make sure to take your vote on what day you'd like to see it as well in the future. I do hope you guys have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday. 9 a.m., not 6 a.m.